Welcome everybody. Join me in any comfortable seated position. I have chosen to sit on my heels, Vajrasana, the Thunderbolt. Not for everyone. You could put a towel underneath your legs, your knees for example, or your heels. That would be above your heels. But it's fine to sit in any way you like. Just make sure you're elevated enough to straighten the spine, to feel a lot of space in the front of the upper body, so that you can actually follow your breath and feel it and feel that expansion, not just in the chest or around the chest and rib cage, but also and especially in your stomach. And you might gently guide your breaths and then start bringing the head over to the left side, so ear to shoulder. The hands, as always, are optional, so that left hand could rest on the head, add a little bit of weight. Right hand could be on the ground. You could move into your wrist. And raising that arm a little bit will make you feel this all the way into the shoulder, if you want to. And then as we're stretching the fingers apart, we can rotate, not just for the wrist, but for the shoulder as well. And relaxing the right hand, if you used it, bring the chin towards your armpit. As always, my reminder, this isn't an exact science. I want you to feel comfortable and feel like you're stretching in a way that's comfortable for you, helpful to you. So go somewhere else if this isn't quite right, maybe to the collarbone. Try out where you want to be and whether it's appropriate for you to have that left hand there at the back of the head. And then maybe both hands behind the head. The back stays straight, hopefully you can see that. And it's just the head that is getting heavy, chin towards the sternum and shoulders relaxed. And then we'll go for the other side, remembering that the hands, the arms are optional, and if we use them, it should be a comfortable stretch, something that's not too deep. And the hands could just rest in the lap otherwise. Again, more important is the fact that we're comfortable in the way that we're sitting here as well, that the spine is straight, or the back rather is straight. Obviously the cervical spine is not. So yeah, if sitting on the heels is not your thing and you're crossing the legs but you feel like you're rounding, then maybe you want to sit on something, just elevate yourself a little bit. Could be a block, could be anything else as well. And optional, again, moving into the wrist, raising that hand a little bit, and then fingers spread wide, opening and dropping the palm, maybe bringing it all the way to the back. Just depends on that flexibility in the wrist and shoulder. And release that left hand and maybe bring the right hand to the back of the head to guide the chin towards the collarbone or armpit. And then nice and slowly let the chin come all the way towards the chest, maybe bringing the hands to the back of the head. If you didn't do it the first time, try and see if you want to do that now. Back stays straight for a little bit longer, and then we slowly, really slowly round the back, bringing the elbows towards the hips rather than towards the knees, rather than towards the front. And just as slowly, we come up and push the elbows to the back, raise the head. So you want your hands at the back of the head now, so that it's comfortable enough to draw circles with your chin, with your nose. And if circles aren't comfortable, then half circles. But the hands are there to support you, to make this more comfortable, so that there's not the weight of the heavy head. As we know, we've got heavy heads. I apparently have the heaviest head in the world, as one of my friends told me ages ago. And my husband agrees. Chin towards the chest as we roll into the shoulders with that W position of the arms. And then the head goes up, the arms go up, and we pull the left wrist over to the right side. Breathing into the left side of the body. And then going a little bit deeper, dropping the right hand, reaching that left arm further over. Your hips can be part of this stretch as well. You can push them over to the left. And then other side. First just stretching up and over, not as far. Make sure where you're looking is comfortable. A little bit up will be nice because it'll help you push that arm to the back as well. And then deepening by bringing that left hand to the ground and reaching the right arm over to the left side. And we release and come back. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, push the elbows down. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, back into that W shape. The head can move along with the hands, up and down, but doesn't have to. And if it does, even though there's that strength in the arms, you want the neck relaxed. Come forwards, pull your left wrist to the right side, round back, dropped head. And then over to the other side. We keep the head dropped, we keep the back rounded. Space for your breath to expand in the back. And then inhale, back up. Exhale, float the arms down, and we come onto all fours. Breathe in, left arm goes up, breathe out, hand comes down. And we draw those circles, inhaling and exhaling as we move through this. And stay up there. And slowly come into a variation of a side plank. Just a half side plank, if you will, opening up towards the left side. And then that left arm goes over to the right side, knees on the ground, right arm goes up and over to the back if you want. But find a place for that right hand where you're comfortable, where you may need it. And some of you might want to straighten the right leg as well. Sometimes that's easier, nicer, more comfortable, or deeper, whatever you want to do here. Back onto all fours. And surprise, surprise, we'll be doing the other side. Inhaling, arm goes up. Exhaling, arm comes down. So drawing that circle as we breathe gently into the body. And next time you go up, stay up there. No, did I do more on this side than the other? Never mind. Right, now we're going to stay up there for a couple of breaths. And then from there, send the arm over to the left side and twist in a way that is comfortable for you. May look different than on the other side. If it feels different, go for replicating what the other side felt like. Go for a good feeling in the body. And slowly come back onto all fours. Asana. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, arch as the head goes up or just to the front. Exhale, round as the head drops. And we keep going, letting the breath guide the movement. Maybe bringing the fingertips onto the ground, so just the fingertips with the rest of the hand up. Might be too much. It's fine if you don't want to do that. And palms back onto the ground. And fingers turn to the sides as we move ourselves from side to side, shoulders and hips guiding the way in movements that feel good for us. Fingertips towards each other, elbows out as you drop down, touching the ground or hovering, and back up. And a few more. Decide if you need that release onto the ground or not. And then this one's probably the hardest, fingertips towards the knees, so you don't have to go all the way, could be a diagonal. And then if you can, if that's possible, push the elbows towards the legs and hold. This is of course very, very deep. Now tops of the hands onto the ground, fingertips towards you, round your back. If one hand after the other is all that you can do, then that's fine. Don't overload your wrists. And then back to that original position. We inhale and raise the right leg. Exhale, bring the knee to the right shoulder. Breathe in, leg goes up. This time exhale, knee to the dropped head. Inhale, leg goes up. Exhale, knee to the left side. Breathe in, leg goes up. Stays. And we slowly send the left arm to the front and grab hold of the right foot. If that's not your thing, left arm to the front, right leg to the back is fine as well. If you want to look to the back here, to the left and to the back, great. If not, then just keep looking to the front. Making sure you don't sink into the right shoulder as you stay and hold. Release and change sides. Left leg up, left knee to the left shoulder. Inhale and arch. Exhale, knee to the dropped head. Breathe in, arch. Breathe out, knee to the right side. And inhale, leg goes up and stays. Right hand can walk forwards as well and stay on the ground, an option that I should have given on the other side. But yeah, if you want to go for that bind, go for it. If not, there's options to make this a little less intense. Hand on the ground, foot on the ground, for example, would work as well. And a nice long left arm. Release and move into your body a little bit in a way that lets you get rid of any tension, any feelings in the body that you want to get rid of. And then child's pose here with the chin or forehead on the ground. And slowly from here, we come up again onto all fours, arching the back and rounding the back, tucking the toes under and making our way into Asana. Parvat, the mountain. Getting warm in the backs of the legs by paddling a little bit. And then focusing on pressing the shoulders to the back and up. So straight line if we can, that we're keeping up as the right leg goes up. So shoulders want to stay strong. We move into the toes, we move into the foot, the ankle. And we end up flexing the foot and dropping the heel, deeper for the hip, for the quad. Shoulders stay strong. And we keep breathing. Now look to the front and step to the front, dropping your left knee to the ground and making your way into Anjani Asana, into a low lunge. Relax the top of the foot onto the ground here. There is an option, I can't remember whether I'm giving it or not, too long ago this, where you press the top of the left foot into the ground and raise the left knee off the ground. Maybe that was on a second round. Doesn't mean you can't do it now if you want. So freestyle, do what you like. Use that time in every long hold to connect with your breath, something we really never do during the day, because we're all busy. When do we ever take time out for that? Slowly release and tuck your back toes under to bring the whole of the foot onto the ground and come up into Virabhadrasana, the hero Bhadra gracious Virabhadrasana, the asana of the warrior that is Shiva, an avatar of Shiva, angry Shiva, avenging not just his honor but also the death of his wife Sati, who is Shakti in human form. So they're not just God and Goddess together, but they're destined to be together on earth as well. Shakti, or Sati's father, human father, did not agree. Wasn't a fan of Shiva and his dreadlocks and his half-naked state and all of that. And that goes back to two different factions, maybe that's the wrong word, factions in Hinduism. The one that wants the order and the one that wants chaos, and we kind of need both, but this is that dichotomy between the two of them. Now interlock your hands, squeeze your shoulder blades. This one not part of the traditional warriors, called a humble warrior. The reason that isn't part of it is because that whole story is not about humility. It is about learning humility or learning to control your emotions. But this humble warrior, where we're coming forwards, is not part of the sequence of the warriors. It's Shiva arriving to exact his revenge in the guise of Virabhadra, and that is warrior one, where he arrives with all his strength and the arms are up and he's strong, like we are strong when we are raising the arms like that. And then opening up into warrior two is him drawing his sword, killing his father-in-law. And then into warrior three would be him either picking up the head of his father-in-law, or when he's learned the error of his ways, adding a new head, the head of a goat, for his father-in-law to bring him back to life. What we're going to do from here is parivrit. No, actually this is not parivritti konasana. I was terribly wrong. We're in a pyramid here, parsvuttanasana. So straightening the right leg and hands either onto that right leg or towards the left leg. Of course, this is the deepest version, but earlier when I was still thinking we were going into that revolved triangle, because I know nothing, that is where the hands were further at the front, and obviously that is an option as well. See how your hamstrings are doing. I've been doing a lot of running the other day, and I can really feel that in my calves and hamstrings. So maybe now I would be looking a little bit different than I did back then. Hands come back, could be on the ground. And this time I was ahead of myself. We're coming into revolved triangle, parivritti konasana, making sure that that back foot, not just the toes, but the whole of the foot, the heel stays on the ground as well. And then of course we could let that left hand wander further and further to the right hand, to the right foot, sorry. I'm all over the place, aren't I? And slightly more wobbly probably, but that left hand could also be on the outside of the right leg. Hand comes down, and we bring both hands to the inside of the foot, so we can sink down into a lunge, with that right foot going a little bit further out to accommodate the hands, to open up the hip a bit more, and we could come a little bit further down. So chaturanga arms is an option here if you can't bring the forearms to the ground, or if you just want to strengthen your triceps a little bit more. Try to keep that left leg straight and the knee off the ground. But if that's not for you, of course, adapt. Let your left hip just not drop all the way. Keep it high enough. You want the right hip to guide the way down. And then slowly back onto the hands. We raise the right arm in a slightly more open or wider twisted lunge. Notice the difference between breathing and observing the breath. And slowly release. Hand comes down, right foot steps to the back, and we land in a plank dandasana. Long arms, strong shoulders. And wonderfully held, I'm sure, everybody. Knees, chest, chin from here. Drop the knees, hips are high. You want that little arch in the back. Fingertips might be on the ground, might be the whole of the hand. We squeeze the shoulder blades, we push the elbows towards each other. And we might, if we want to, adjust this, deepen it, for example, by walking the hands, by walking the feet and knees further in to increase that compression in the lumbar spine. Chin on the ground unless that's uncomfortable, and we could turn the head to one side. And we slowly release. Hands on the ground, drop your hips, long legs, raise your chest, roll the shoulders to the back and bring them down. We're also pushing the elbows towards each other in the same way as we did in Ashtanga Namaskar. Here we do the same in Bhujangasana or the Cobra. Now, as we deepen, if we do, and we raise ourselves higher but keep the arms slightly bent, we want to make sure that we're particularly aware of the breath, and the way that we're breathing shouldn't change, should not feel constricted, should not be labored. So hold the posture, never the breath, unless otherwise told, unless it's deliberate. Tuck your toes under, push the hips up. We're back in Parvatasana, mountain pose. Downward dog if you want, or even a triangle in Kundalini tradition. And because you're very intelligent, you'll know what's coming. Left leg up. Same thing here, a little bit of movement into the toes and the ankle. Shoulders stay strong and press to the back and up. And then we flex the foot, drop the heel. And from here we look to the front and step to the front, dropping the right knee, untucking the toes, making our way into Anjani Asana, the little Hanuman. Arms up. And see where you want to be here. If you'd like to close the eyes, if you might want to press the top of the foot into the ground to raise your right knee. And then start observing the breath. Slowly get ready to come out of this posture. Last couple of breaths. And we release the hands to the ground. Step or tuck the right foot under, and then step that foot firmly onto the ground to come up into Warrior One. And from our angry Shiva avatar into that humble Veerbhadra, interlocking the hands, squeezing the shoulder blades, and slowly taking the torso forwards and down into a humble warrior. Taking our time and keeping our breath steady as we make our way into Parsvottanasana, into the pyramid with the hands wherever they can get to, wherever they're comfortable. Reach for the right foot. You want to make sure it looks a little bit like I'm opening up to the right side, and that's fine. It's not about how it looks, but you want to make sure that there's a little bit of a push of the right hip to the front. Slowly coming into Parivrit Trikonasana from here. Right hand on the ground, on the outside or inside of the left foot as that left arm goes up. And from here, smoothly into the lizard pose with the arms on the inside of the left leg, coming down, Uttan Prishthasana. Actually not lizard at all, that's just the English word for this posture. It's a flat sheet of paper. There you go. Can we try to be a flat sheet of paper? I don't know, I don't think so. So this also, at some point, that is the aim, left knee out, far out, so that that left hip can rest on the ground. Then that right leg could be on the ground. Then the whole of the torso, the front of the upper body can touch the ground. But for the moment, maybe just as much as you can do right now. And then hands back onto the ground, if indeed they weren't, and we twist, raising the left arm, looking up if that's comfortable, closing the eyes if we like. We can play around with a lot of things here. Nothing needs to happen, nothing must happen, but everything can. And elegantly from here, we make our way into Dandasana, a plank, the plank, not just any plank, our plank. And we hold and breathe. Feel that breath in the stomach, even though you're engaging the core. Yes, the breath has changed, but there's still movement in the stomach. For all those beautiful people amongst you who are only subscribed to YouTube rather than my online subscription platform, this is the end for you. Come into Child's Pose and hold here, and thank you so much for watching. And if you're interested in more, there is, as always, a link in my description to the full class, the full 60-minute class. Bye-bye!